Well, good. I can't say sunny Saturday morning. It's a little rainy sunny morning. But this is the Optimize My Life show brought to you by the Hope Collection. And we're in for a treat today because it's Saturday. And this is kind of the Week in Review, that show that we have. And joining us is Mary Stanley. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. It's been a kind of a crazy weekend for us. Actually, if you want to include Friday in a weekend, but Ron actually is gone now to the men's prayer breakfast that our church has once a month, and so he is off to that today. So I have the pleasure of speaking with you. So did you have anything you wanted to add in today or talk about in particular?
A couple things.
Okay.
So next week is 9/11.
Yeah.
I can't say the other one.
Patriots
and
Day.
So there we go. And we're going to be hosting a bunch of shows throughout the week. Some will be live, some will be replays. Not only survivors, but some kids that heard the stories and want to talk about what they know and different things like that.
Excellent. Because we really have to keep that in mind and not let it get buried in memories. It really is important.
That and it's also about hope and inspiration. You know, the big theme is all about, stop judging, work together, all about hope. Because, during that time period, it didn't matter who you were, what you looked like, your status. Everybody stopped to help each other out.
Exactly.
And we have gotten so far from that in society. And I'm hoping that some of these stories will help bring that back.
Super. Oh, that's wonderful. That is so needed.
Starting in October, Optimize My Life will be the first network out there to host a series of new lineup shows by neurodivergent individuals for neurodivergent individuals and their families. So there will be different shows. One is simply finance and how to save, spend what is money. And it's one of the hosts, that's what he specializes in, and he wants to share with his community about the things he didn't know and understand and helping them to be able to understand things a little bit differently. But it's also for parents with kids on the spectrum or families on the spectrum to know how to talk differently, do different things to help them thrive instead of just survive.
Wow, much needed. Yes. Because, we can't limit, people, but we have to help them in ways that they can understand, we think that, but at the same time, how many college kids, when we were, we were so naive when we were first married about how to handle credit, how to, pay things. We really had to learn by bad experience. Let's help everyone learn by good experience and learn from other people's mistakes and trials instead of you making the same mistake. You can make your own mistakes. Don't make the same mistakes as everyone. I guess it's but it's so important, and so I really commend you for what you're doing. It sounds exciting and really, really worthwhile.
And my big goal with this is to help people see them in a different light. You know, first and foremost, they're individuals. They're not things that need to be trained. They just need to be talked to in a different light. And
yes.
one of the ladies that is going to come on and have a show, she is on the spectrum. And she teaches special education courses to kids. And she's got a wealth of knowledge for parents about IEPs, how to adjust those IEPs. One is a professional, but also because of her own background and living in that world. She's got the best of both worlds. And she is just a hilarious comedian on top of it all.
Oh, great. And, you can get a message across better with a little humor than browbeating somebody,
Yeah.
So that's great. Now, you use an acronym, and what is the IEP?
An IEP is an individualized education plan. And what that is designed for is kids with educational needs that struggle in areas or have, different issues with disabilities that affect their education. So it's customized. So, like, good example is my daughter. So she, no matter how she works, she is like, we call her the Einstein brain, only because Einstein could never do simple. He was 5, almost flunking out of school, but he was contemplating light and how to bend light and the sound of light. And she's the same way. So she can't do 2 + 2. Cleaning her room is like a big, giant production. It'll take her all day. And it's a simple pick up garbage, pick up clothes, and put her toys away. And it'll take her 10 minutes. But so the way that she's taught is differently because she can't do simple, look at a screen, write it down on paper, and do it. So they've adjusted it to where she's got video games, educational video games, to get her assignments from it because she's behind in her math classes, and gets grades that way, so she's not stressed out, but they still can see where she's at and what she learns. My son, for instance, he struggles with clothes. So his IEP is written because he goes to school online, so he only has to have shorts on, and if he's uncomfortable with the camera can be off. It's always different things like sensory tools if they need them, such as, Play-Doh or fidgets or different things like that. There's an imagination of what you can do and adjust to make your child comfortable in the classroom. And it's just coordinating with the schools, plus it tells them what extra help they need, such as reading, writing, and math, or socialization skills, therapies, OT, speech. Depends on what they need and what needs to be adjusted and how it gets adjusted.
And if there's alternative ways instead of sitting in 10 rows with, with the teacher standing in front teaching everyone exactly the same thing at the same time, there's alternatives.
And that's it. A lot of big misconceptions, what some of the teachers are doing is they're putting these kids in the back of the classroom, not as a punishment, but because they need to get up and move around. Rick talked about this on the Tuesday show where he was in a hotel with Brenda, and all he heard all night long was this kid going, thud, 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 thud. He paced the whole room. That's a regulation technique these kids automatically do. It's not something they're taught. It's their body telling them what they need to do. And so when kids get like that, the teachers have opened up the back of the classroom so they can literally walk back and forth. And a lot of teachers think, it's going to be distraction for the other kids. They have found that if you sit and tell the classroom what's going on, why he does what he does, the first month or so it's going to be a distraction, but after that, they don't even notice it. The teachers making the noise about it or bringing it up is what brings attention to everybody else.
Great. Yeah, and it's a doable alternative.
And it doesn't cost the school any money.
Yeah. That is good. Yeah, so that would be a wonderful. I like how you say the network, because it is a network. This is so dimensional. This platform, and these platforms, I should say, and so again, and it's alternatives to how people can get information, and so and this just spreading the word, and getting the information out there. So that's wonderful, Mary.
And coming up this winter, putting all the pieces together. We will be a live channel on the Roku.
Oh, really? Wow.
So we won't just have our own app on Roku, but when you go to live TV on Roku, we will have our channel there.
Wow, excellent. I know we need to expand. I've seen Roku, our Canadian friends. They have on their in their guest room on the TV there. So that's why I'm familiar with the name, but not a lot of the programming. So that's really cool.
That's the only thing we use at our house.
Yeah, we're going to actually, one of the other new investments we're going to have to do is a new TV. Really, for the bedroom, we have a very tiny old TV in there. Not old, it's still flat screen, but Ron, since he does rest with his legs up a lot more often, so he does spend more time in the bedroom watching TV and working on things. So that I do need to upgrade that TV and get Roku and those other channels on, be able to use it. So So you talked about finances, and one of the things I was going to cover today is kind of like actually a mini commercial, because the Hope Collection has joined forces with Cambridge Financial, and I just had wanted to go over some of the things that they offer, because it just really gives you things to think about, the power of being debt-free. And it's neat. And they have on their brochure, what does it mean to be debt-free? For most of us, it's more about the freedom of not letting debts control us than having no debts at all. The vast majority of people will always carry some debt, such as cars and mortgages. But imagine paying your basic monthly expenses without having to worry whether you can afford your credit card payments, medical bills, or other expenses. Taking control of what you do with your money, being able to build savings, and not worrying about how you'll deal with unexpected expenses. That's what being debt-free is all about. And Cambridge can help, because they have not just management, but budgeting and financial education. I know you had mentioned, Mary, about part on that program about how to, but actually for just so many of us, even seniors. But I remember when we were first starting out, and Cambridge is a nonprofit organization, but they developed an online budgeting and financial education portal called My Money. And you'll be able to create and maintain a detailed household budget to help you identify exactly where your money is going every month and establish a plan to increase savings. It's so important. It has a short education course to teach you the basics about a variety of personal finance topics, such as budgeting, saving, credit reports, and more. And that's really cool. But then there's also credit counseling, so you can get to understand your unique circumstances and your financial goals and identify your income and all of your expenses. I'll tell you, when we went through this, we had expenses out there that we didn't need. But, help you create, and this is absolutely no cost or obligation for that service, but it will advise you about your options, including other services that may be of interest. And then there is the debt management portion. And this isn't like, get rid of all your, stiffness of people that have, that you owe money to. It's not that at all. Because think about it. If you had some kind of a debt program that didn't pay your creditors, that would you ever be able to get another line of credit at all? Because they say no. But what this does, it reduces your interest rates. From the average interest is 22%. Well, it's a lot higher than that now, but you can get the interest rate down, and that reduces your monthly payment. The interest rate reductions result in an average savings. It says here $135 a month. We save a lot more than that just by having them lower our interest payments. And then fast debt repayment. I was talking to a girlfriend, and she actually brought it up about her credit getting out of hand. And she just recently retired herself, and I have sent her to Cambridge because they helped us. They can help her. So, but I just wanted to give a little commercial, as it were, this morning about that there are programs out there, and through the Hope Collection and the Optimize My Life, we have this. Or making this available to people. So that is really an exciting thing that can just really put peace of mind in people's lives.
Well, and it also sets you up. No, we used it for them to help me. Not that I was in a lot of debt, but what a lot of people don't realize is when you're in the military, and this is where we struggled, you don't have a lot of bills. And the bills you do have, you can have the option of it taken out of your checks. And you don't have rent because housing is paid for. Your basic bill is like cell phone or a loan for a car payment or something, so you don't have that revolving credit. So when I got out at 35, my credit score was that of an 18-year-old. And so I couldn't get a credit card. I couldn't get nothing. And it's hard to get loans because you've never been in a stable place for very long and you just moved because you're always address changes. And so I worked with them to help just figure out ways to help me boost my credit score quicker so that I could get a line of credit to open my business and, get the things we needed and stuff like that a little bit quicker than the traditional do-it-yourself.
No, that's and finding that company, in this case a nonprofit, that will help you do that, and it's out there. The help is out there, and just to be able to take advantage of it. When I was 19, I met Ron when I was 19, and we got married at I was 21, just a couple of days after 21. But of course, living at home, I had no credit build up, and one of the things that I did was back then, mind you, 50 years ago, I don't know if it's still like that, because credit is so completely different now. But I had no credit in my name. And there was a company that I could buy cookware, dishes, my crystal, everything to set up a household. But it was a credit program, and so that's how I established credit in my own name. And by buying this and paying a monthly, because I had a job, of course, but and so that was one of the first times that that I established credit in my own name. And it's important to do because, just like you were saying, here you're 35 and, don't really have any credit build up. But that's what's exciting about Cambridge. A lot of the educational parts are, there's no cost. And even on the credit, the debt reduction, there's a one-time, I think, $45 or $50 fee, and then just minor fees. I mean, it's really so inexpensive to take advantage of, and so it's just one of those things that that is the Hope Collection. It's one of the ways that we are reaching out and just to be a service. The Hope Collection just really, we're a connector. We find programs that are good, that are helpful, and connect people with it. So that's really one of our basic functions, as it were. So it's good. Yeah, one of the things I can do that another week. Another thing that I was going to talk about, I found, ever use a word incorrectly? Like, what's the difference between adverse and averse, affect and effect? So, I found, because I love words. I was an English major, and I just love words. But it's always, sometimes you can say the wrong word. In fact, the title of this little paper that I've had for years is incorrectly used words that can make you look dumb. And so what I'll do that another week. So we can.
Well, you know what? I still cannot get there and there right. I get the there, the apostrophe they are correctly, but the THERE and the EIR, I still screw them up.
Let's see if it's on. Okay. There is a contraction for they are. THEYRE is a contraction for they are. Again, the apostrophe doesn't own anything. We're going to their house, THEIR, and I sure hope their home, THEYRERE. So, one of the ones that I always messed up was affect and effect, AFFECT and EFFECT. I remember typing up a whole document, and I used the wrong effect or affect. The verbs first. Affect, AFFECT. Influence. Impatient investors affected our rollout date. Effect means to accomplish something. The board affected a sweeping policy change. And how you use affect can be tricky. For example, a board can affect changes by influencing them and can effect changes by directly implementing them. See, so some of these words are just really, very, but, in especially where I work in legal writing, you have to make sure that I was teasing my boss. I said, well, at least I was consistent. He said, yes, you were consistently wrong in every effect. Like bring and take. Both have to do with objects you move or carry. The difference is in the point of reference. You bring things here and you take them there. You ask people to bring something to you, and you ask people to take something from you or to somebody else. So, anyway, it has a lot more examples, because sometimes, not as much when you're talking, but when you're writing, it can really make a difference in what you're trying to say. There's the old joke, how punctuation is so important. Like, let's eat grandma, or let's eat, grandma, let's eat. So, there's, punctuation and using the right words sometimes can have bad consequences. I know I had sent a text to somebody. Oh, no, I can't remember how it came out. But again, you have to watch spell checker that automatically changes words. Sometimes it can. We have friends that, because Ron doesn't always double check what he's sending, although I did it just the other day. But we have friends that actually have saved some of his texts because they were so funny. Because if he misspelled something, it spell checked some completely different word, and it's had really funny consequences. So, but.
Yeah, I always said I call him back, huh?
I know. Well, and I'm trying to be so careful. I can't remember what it was now that I did last week, and so my girlfriend wrote back, I am assuming you're trying to say whatever, but it is so easy to do. Oh, Ron is calling me. So, well, how about we just leave a minute earlier today, and we will continue next week. So with that, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, everyone. Mary, thanks so much for being on the call and sharing all that great
and stay dry.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.